Welcome to Poppin, the podcast all about play in its many silly, serious, and powerful forms. I'm Nathan Holbert.
And I'm Haney Yoon. And this season we're talking about young people's media, how to make it, why it matters, what participation looks like, and its challenges and limitations.
And today we're doing something a little different, actually.
Yeah. So we decided to take our hand at making media by creating a story of our own.
Yeah, and because we knew we wouldn't be able to do this on our own, we took advantage of our guests. I mean, we asked nicely,
very nicely,
our guests to provide us a few different elements for this story that we wanted to create, right? So can you give us an example of what we did here?
Yeah, so for the listeners, if you could imagine like a cross between writing stories and Mad Libs.
Right.
And so what we did is we asked each of our guests to give us a little element or piece of the story. So for example, we asked Aaron to give us the beginning of a story, and he sent us in the mail via snail mail a very enticing little chapter and a beginning of a story that we had to kind of decode and had a hard time doing.
Right. We got characters from some of our guests this season. So Logan, Paula, and Jesus shared with us 3 really excellent and exciting characters, and they even gave us the voices, which we failed to actually replicate perfectly.
I had a very hard time reenacting those voices.
But we took all of these elements, and together, Haney and I sat down and we wrote. We tried to take those elements, we tried to put them together into some sort of a story that could fit the particular vibes that our guests had suggested, the characters, the themes, some of the locations and places. And what we have done is we've created this story for you. We've pieced it together. You're going to hear some little clips from our guests talking about and offering those elements of our story. And we've tried to weave that together into a new piece of media for you.
So what we have for you is a pulpy sci-fi by the name of Stairway to Riverworld, written by Nathan and Haney in collaboration with all of our guests this season. Our narrator for this story is the illustrious, incomparable Hannah Holbert.
And performed as well by
yours truly.
So strap in. Here we go. Stairway to Riverworld.
Aaron Trammell gave us the beginning of a story.
I don't know. I feel like I need to grant you the beginning of a story somehow.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm going to find a book, and I'm going to rip a page out of it.
Okay.
So that you'll have the beginning of a story.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It will be the beginning of the book.
It will be the beginning.
Okay.
But it will be the beginning of a story.
Okay.
And so I will have given you the beginning of a story.
Go, traveler. Go anywhere. The universe is a big place. Perhaps the biggest. No matter. Wherever you land, you'll hear of Simon Wagstaff, the space wanderer. Simon is an Earthman. You must have heard of him. He travels the galaxy with his companions and his electric banjo, fighting injustice. He's a nice enough fellow, though he is a bit cranky. Of course, you would be cranky too, if you were as old as Simon. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. Simon is immortal. Well, he was immortal, until he died. That's when he went to Riverworld. I guess I should explain a bit more how Simon died. Well, that story is quite simple. Dear reader, blame it on the cats.
Paulo Picel introduced us to our first character.
Evil little cat.
You ready this down? Evil little cat.
Evil little cat. She comes from space, from this planet where there are all cats, but she was the smallest one, so she came to Earth, to conquer Earth. But she's a cat, a small cat.
And she speaks like this. And she's so happy. And because I'm gonna conquer Earth. And not just any cat. The cat in question goes by the name Queen Catastrophe, an evil little cat from the void. She is widely known throughout the space-time continuum, and equally feared by as many as she is known. Queen Catastrophe is a fierce conqueror, though she is the smallest of her species. And she has set her sights on a small blue planet a few hops away from the sun. A place called Earth. Really an easy-peasy target for a chaos-creating calico. The specifics of Earth's destruction is another story. Suffice it to say, Earth was destroyed. Queen Catastrophe had a major hand in it, and it wasn't all that hard. It's almost like Earthlings were already kind of doing the deed themselves. All they needed was a slight nudge, a little breeze, really. And Queen Catastrophe was more than happy to provide. But for this story, I suppose I should say a bit about Riverworld, Simon's new home after the destruction of Earth.
Joanna Literat gave us the vibe, and Henry Jenkins the setting.
I'll start with a vibe check.
Okay,
check, vibe
I like
check.
it.
I would like it to not be dystopian
Okay.
in this
That's
particular political moment.
noted. Yes.
So a happy place.
A happy place
I
with
like it.
balloons.
Balloons, perhaps. Okay, a ballooned happy place.
So, well, one thing that comes to mind is I've always loved Jose Felipe Farmer's Riverworld series of books. And the Riverworld is a place that everyone goes across cultures, across time, after they die. So it's an afterlife that has everyone who's ever lived on Earth.
Riverworld is a special place. It's an afterlife of sorts, but not the kind your choose-your-own-religious leader told you about. No, this place has all the people. All of them. For all time. It's pretty great, actually. And Simon was happy just to have a bit of a rest. A place to pull out the old banjo and pluck a few notes. Probably Stairway to Heaven. Though, as we have noted, this was not heaven. But just as Simon got to the bridge, a bespectacled older gentleman stopped him.
Jesus Alarcon adds to our cast of characters.
Mine is also a bad guy. It's I'm gonna call him Dr. Doctorate just for sake.
Doctor.
Yes, it's a mixture of Doctor Doom and you remember Brain from Pinky and the
Yeah,
Brain.
yeah.
Okay, and
Who
the
could
point
forget
is
that
that
big brain?
he just wants to be the only one who knows. And he wants to make everyone else stupid. And he
Ah.
wants everyone else to unlearn everything. And on the way to showing what he wants people to unlearn, he ends up teaching even more. So he's his own worst enemy because he only wants to be the only one who knows. And
Stop! Shut it down! You must unlearn this silly tune and your finger-plucking ways that bring it about. I am the only one who knows.
And exactly who are you?
Said Simon.
Doctorate, you stupid banjo amateur. I am the only one who knows.
Oh, okay, cool then. Okay, I'll just stick with you then.
What now? You'll stick with me then? Ugh, if you must.
So, where are we going then?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know you were going to follow me, so I'm a bit lost here.
Well, what did you think I was going to do when you said you're the only one who knows? Duh.
Meanwhile, Queen Catastrophe giggles at her success at destroying Earth. She is shocked it was so easy.
I am shocked it was so easy. Who knew Earthlings would so quickly destroy their own planets? It's really kind of sad when you think about it. But we won't think about it because that's very depressing. And we're celebrating our victory, right, Shroomy?
Right? Queen Catastrophe! Logan invents for our story a lovable robot complete with a voice.
Shroomy.
Shroomby.
It's a mushroom-themed robot.
oh, that's
Completely lovable, but also completely gullible.
Oh.
Yet, when bad guys try to trick him, he's so gullible that the bad guys end up tricking themselves. For example, the bad guy says, "Go destroy the whole thing." He destroys it. Then he rebuilds it into something so much better.
Oh,
It
nice.
just splits like this. Hello, everyone. I am come to help you. This is trademark to Battlelord, and please no one use it.
Now, where shall we conquer next? Ah, I know. Riverworld! The final home of all living beings. We shall conquer Riverworld and conquer life itself. Hairball.
Conquer Riverworld? I don't know. That sounds bad. I don't like destroying things.
Destroy? I didn't say destroy. I said conquer. It says conquer. And obviously make things better. You'll see, Shroomy. Now, the secret of Riverworld is...
Erica Halverson brings us the most important ingredient to our story.
First thing that came to my mind was The Rock and John Cena, because kids will love to write a story about The Rock and John Cena.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If they can be characters in your story.
I mean, both are delightful.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
Surprisingly.
And they will love The Rock and or John Cena to have either a partner or a pet that is some version of a unicorn, alicorn,
some horned,
some
mystical creature.
magical flying creature.
Got it.
Unicorns, very popular.
Back on Riverworld. As our unlikely heroes stroll through the Riverworld, they notice two hulking figures zipping by in the night sky. At first, Simon and Dr. Doctorate see only two majestic unicorns with shiny white fur and glorious rainbow-swirled horns atop their heads. Simon stares in awe at the two mythical creatures flying around hyperspace.
Do you see that there are two figures riding those unicorns?
The unicorns were so grand that Simon hadn't even noticed the two seemingly tiny figures riding atop the majestic creatures. Dr. Doctorate calmly explained.
Those are two giants from the Earth, well regarded and respected by all humans. Their names, John Cena and The Rock. Everyone knows them and admires their prowess and power all throughout what used to be Earth.
Duh. Wow, yeah, I know them too. They were icons. They brought about death and destruction in the WWE, but peace and prosperity to the world, so no wonder they're in this afterlife.
Damn it! I did it again. I shared my knowledge accidentally. But I'm the only one who knows, well, maybe you know this one thing too, but I'm the only one who knows other things.
Okay, yeah, you think what you want. You do you, boo. While it didn't come up in our episode on Teletubbies, Andy Davenport suggested our story should include an object that people love to talk about.
An object? Wow. Objects. Yeah, I just realized we had a whole talk about object without talking about Tinky Winky's purse, which is like
oh my God.
Absolute miracle. It's the first time I've ever talked about Teletubbies without that coming up. So yeah, it's let's say Tinky Winky's purse.
Yeah, I love that. I love
that's
that.
so perfect.
I am so glad that this conversation came to this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yikes! At that exact moment, while gazing up at the stars, Dr. Doctorate and Simon tripped over something underneath their feet. The two looked down to see a small object jutting out of the grass. It was red. It had a gold clasp and a short handle. It looked like a purse. But not just any purse.
Is that Tinky Winky's purse?
If you know, you know. And I am the one who knows. Open it.
It was, in fact, Tinky Winky's purse. And deep inside, underneath the Telly Toast, Telly Custard, and Lala's ball, was a medium-sized needle. A medium-sized needle with the same rainbow swirl. The same rainbow swirl of John Cena and the Rock's unicorn's horns. Simon exclaimed.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
And then Dr. Doctorate began a story regarding the mythology and great history of the medium-sized needle and the phylogeny of unicorns. It was a long story, and anyone else would have fallen asleep immediately. But Simon was mesmerized by Dr. Doctorate's boring story. And this engagement and awe excited Dr. Doctorate, as is the case for most professors. And so he continued talking, explaining, and teaching. Professors love a good audience who will let them drone on in detail about their convoluted stories and ideas.
Well, crap. I did it again. Now you know. But still, I am the only one who knows other things.
Okay, man. Yeah, I believe you.
In the distance, Simon notices a small robot frolicking through the sunflowers and daisies.
Hey, oh my gosh, the robot. Neat.
The robot in the distance was Shroomy. As they watch, Shroomy picks up a particularly beautiful and large pink carnation and pops it.
Wait a minute. Is everything balloons?
Simon and Dr. Doctorate stop and look down. They look really, really closely. And suddenly it becomes obvious. Everything on Riverworld is made of balloons. The grass they had been walking in, the animals that had passed them by, the rocks, even Tinky Winky's purse. Everything was balloons.
Oh my! It looks as if that tiny robot is popping balloons. If they were to pop too many balloons, they would tear the fragile fabrique of Riverworld. That would be catastrophic.
Catastrophic? Like, where do I know that name?
You know nothing! I am the one who knows things!
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, my bad.
As they get closer, Shroomy notices them, stops, and quickly pops one more medium-sized green balloon panda bear climbing a particularly large balloon-shaped tree.
Hey.
Hello. Don't mind me. I'm just doing some light conquering. But do not worry. I will not destroy anything.
Simon looks down at his hand, the medium-sized needle gleaming in the orange light of the two Riverworld suns. He smiles.
Why did you do that? You popped that large balloon-shaped tree. Don't do that. You could destroy this very planet.
Pop! Shroomy has poked a yellow balloon dog leaping through the balloon grass. Pop! Grinning, Simon has stuck his needle in the balloon-shaped balloon floating on the morning breeze.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun!
Pop goes the blue balloon giraffe. Pop goes the red balloon banana. Pop goes the white balloon weasel. They all look at Dr. Doctorate.
What? It looked like fun.
It was fun. Pop! And on it went, each of them popping balloons, smiling, laughing, and popping.
I didn't know the afterlife was so fun.
Oh my god, yeah, it's pretty cool.
At that moment, a loud crack could be heard in the horizon. There, floating in the sky, was a small spacecraft. And standing on top of the spacecraft, on its tiny legs, was Queen Catastrophe.
What's poppin'?
They all look at each other. Then they look at the camera and wink. Suddenly, the world explodes. Riverworld was gone!
Every good story needs an ending. Emily Reardon and Michael Preston provide the coziest location for our story's conclusion.
What's your favorite place on Sesame Street?
Maybe Big Bird's Nest is like a cozy spot.
It's very cozy.
Ooh.
I like that a lot.
With the blanket and just like...
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not everyone lives in a nest, so it's
Yeah.
like kind of a unique home.
Is this nest on a tree or is it on the street?
It's a major nest, kind of behind almost like a Western swinging door. What do you call that? Like a
Oh yeah, like a saloon door. Yeah.
But not all was lost. What remained was a nice, cozy nest, propped in the nook of a large tree behind an old wooden saloon door. Inside the door sat our friends, Simon, Dr. Doctorate, Shroomy, Queen Catastrophe, John Cena, and The Rock. Simon sat on a fluffy down pillow in a cozy nest, electric banjo on his knee. And if you stop and listen carefully, you could hear the faint plucking of Stairway to Heaven. Bet you can't wait to get there. And they lived after.
I have to say, Nathan, in the words of my niece, who is now 9, when she was 2 and making up stories, the end. That was a good story.
Every story needs a the end.
The end, yes. Well, we should say first, before we start off on our little journey here, we have to thank the illustrious Hannah Holbert for being the most amazing narrator there ever was.
There ever was. I mean, she lent her dulcet tones to our amateurish voice acting, and it really elevated the whole
It
thing.
did.
So
I
thank
mean,
you, Hannah.
Yes. And it kind of goes to show that narration is really important to telling a story, isn't it?
We kind of put it all on her shoulders there at the beginning.
Change the narrator, change the whole story.
So throughout the season, we invited each of our guests, as you now know, to give us a little piece of this story. And then we spent some time together trying to kind of craft something that could make not sense, because our story doesn't really make sense, but could become a bit of a narration about this kind of wacky world with all these wacky characters. And it was hard to do. Right?
Yes, it was pretty hard to do. I feel like in the spirit of making media and making stories for children, we thought it would be such a great idea to make stories ourselves and see what the experiences was like. And I think we learned that even making a 15-minute story is very, very, very difficult.
And look, we knew that to be true. We didn't expect it to be easy, but yeah, trying to sort of pull these pieces together to keep it moving and to say something interesting. Also, we wanted to try to have our story have a bit of a interesting theme. It was a real challenge, but it was fun to do, and it was fun to sort of try to stretch those muscles and see what they're like. And I have lots of residual pain from the effort.
From all your accents.
From all my accents. Yeah. Pain mostly in the throat.
Yeah. Well, what would you say is your big takeaway? What did you learn from creating this story? I can give you a little example.
Yeah.
I feel like the course of the season, we've learned from different people like Erica, Lee, Jamie, Andy, Michael, Emily, that storytelling is really a collaborative process between adults and kids. And I think sometimes we think about stories for children only should be made by children.
Right.
But we realize that there is some kind of synergy and some kind of connection that can be made when adults and children kind of come together.
Yeah.
And how some of the best stories are collaborative, right? And I think about our guests over time, how they offered a really disparate piece of the puzzle that we were trying to create. But that collaboration kind of led us here into this wild, goofy story that included John Cena and The Rock, but melded together in such a beautiful way, right? So I think it's this, I think about the takeaway from the Story Pirates episode about how, part of telling stories is the collaboration and the work that people bring into it, and maybe changes and shifts the stories, but it could do so in really delightful ways.
Yeah, and it would be fun to have a kid or some kids hear this and be like, okay, here's really what you should have done. Get some feedback and kind of iterate on it. I think it'd be fun to do that sometime.
Yeah, that's the glory of revision.
And thank you very much for joining us this season. We've had a great time talking to man, just an incredible array of brilliant creators and thinkers and artists. I really feel like I learned a ton this season. I feel like I got so excited at every episode, both the recording of them and then also the opportunity to release these episodes to you all. So thank you for joining us on this journey. We're excited about what we've turned out, and we're excited about what's going to happen next.
And don't forget to join us for season 6.
Season 6. Keep your eyes and ears and your feeds open. We'll be back.
Pop and Play is produced by Haney Yoon, Nathan Holbert, Lalitha Vasudevan, Billy Collins, and Joe Rena Ferry at Teachers College, Columbia University with the Digital Futures Institute.
Audio recordings for this episode by Abu Abdelbagi.
This episode was edited by Billy Collins and Abu Abdelbagi.
For a transcript and to learn more, visit tc.edu/popandplay. Our music is selections from Leaf Eaters by Poddington Bear, used here under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial License. Blake Danzig and Meyer Clark provided our social media and outreach support. Follow at Pop and Play Pod on Instagram. Thank you to Abu Abdelbagi for support with our website and additional materials.
Do you teach about play and pop culture? Check out our topics collection organized for the classroom. And of course, don't forget to share Pop and Play with a friend or colleague.
And thanks for listening.